All right, I guess we're ready to get going. Welcome, everyone, and good afternoon. My name is Nick Regas. I'm the Executive Director at CU ICAR. I also serve as Clemson's Associate Vice President for Strategic Research Initiatives. It is my distinct honor to welcome you to our forum, A Vision for Advanced Manufacturing in the Region, a Framework for Competitive Growth. This afternoon, we are bringing together industry, academic, and government partners to discuss how to ensure our workforce excels and leads in manufacturing, both now and in the future. Now it's my pleasure to introduce Clemson University's 15th President, James P. Clemens. Under his leadership, Clemson has achieved record-breaking levels of success in admissions, enrollment, research, athletics, graduation and retention rates, and private fundraising. In addition, the campus is currently undergoing the largest construction boom in the history of the university, and for those of you that work out there or visit out there, you know what we're talking about when it comes to traffic. President Clemens is nationally recognized leader in higher education, serving in educational leadership positions and on innovation and entrepreneurship boards nationwide. He currently serves on the board of the directors of the American Council on Education and on the executive committees for the Association of Public and Land-Grant Universities, the Council on Competitiveness, and the Business Higher Education Forum. Would you kindly give a warm welcome to Dr. Jim Clemens.
Thank you, Dr. Regas. Good evening, Go Tigers. Thank you all for being here for this very important discussion this evening. I do want to give a special welcome to some legislative staff members who are here with us tonight. We have with us staff members from the offices. Can you hear me in the back? Okay. We have staff members from the offices of Senator Lindsey Graham, Senator Tim Scott, and Congressman Jeff Duncan. Thank you all for being with us tonight. I'm thrilled that we're hosting this event because manufacturing is critical to the economy, as you know, in this state and this region. And I honestly believe that Clemson is uniquely positioned to work with industry to drive economic development. As you know, we are a land-grant research university, which means that we create knowledge with a very specific public purpose. We have taken that mission and applied it to the efforts to advance economic development, especially at our innovation campuses across the state. These campuses are where our faculty and staff and students come together with our highly valued industry partners to innovate and to create solutions to meet industry needs. Our national profile as a research university continues to increase, which means that we are able to do even more for our industry partners. Research funding at the university is at an all-time high thanks to our incredible faculty members. With this year, we had more than $150 million in external research awards. That's a 62% increase compared to the funding we received just 5 years ago. Tonight, I'm proud to announce a new grant that will have a direct impact on advanced manufacturing education. We just received a grant worth $1.79 million from the Department of Defense Manufacturing Engineering Education Program to establish a new program in our Center for Workforce Development called Time for Robotics. TIME, T-I-M-E, stands for Technology in Manufacturing Education. This initiative will use technologies such as virtual reality to teach students about robotics and advanced manufacturing so that they have the skills needed to be successful in the workforce of tomorrow. We are currently working to develop the curriculum, and our friends at Greenville Technical College Center for Manufacturing Innovation will be our first partner to use this with their students. We hope that other schools across the state will also get to adopt it and develop a talent pipeline throughout the great state of South Carolina. I'm very excited about this new program and what it means for the future of advanced manufacturing education. Tonight, we're here to listen so those of us in higher education get some ideas from our industry partners about what we can do to work with them moving forward. I want to take a moment to introduce our panel to you. We brought together, as you know, an amazing group of leaders, top leaders from industry, all of which we are blessed that they have operations here in South Carolina. I ask that you please hold your applause until all panelists have been introduced. I ask the panelists, when they are introduced, to come on up and grab a seat up front. We have with us tonight Dr. Choi, Senior Vice President of Global Business and Technology Strategy for Samsung Electronics. He oversees business operations and product development for a number of major appliances that Samsung produces, such as air conditioners, refrigerators, washing machines, and vacuum cleaners. We have Mr. Scott Clark, who was named Chairman and President of Michelin North America this past January. He has been with Michelin since 1996 and previously served as Executive Vice President and Chief Operations Officer of Michelin America's Small Tires for 10 years. We have Mr. Knut Flohr, who is the President and CEO of BMW Manufacturing Company. He has more than 30 years of experience in the BMW Global Group production network. Before being named President and CEO in 2016, he was Senior Vice President of Corporate Quality for the BMW Group. We have Dr. Tim Hardy, is President of South Carolina Technical College System. Prior to being named System President in 2016, he served as the President of Central Carolina Technical College. He has more than 30 years of experience in education, both at the K through 12 level and in higher education. We have Mr. Mike Mansuetti, who is the President of Robert Bosch LLC. He works with Bosch's business units and sales organizations to guide the company's growth strategy in North America. He has been with Bosch since 1988, and I'm very proud to say that he is a Clemson alumnus.
All right.
We also have Mr. Wolfgang Rubrecht, who's Vice President of Strategy and Business Development for the Digital Factory Division of Siemens USA. He is responsible for the definition and implementation of Siemens' digital enterprise strategy in the United States. I want to thank all of our panelists for taking the time to be here this evening and share their thoughts with us. If you look at this group, this is an unbelievable group of serious talent, major leaders literally around the globe. Would you please help me thank them? I also would like to introduce to you our moderator for the discussion, Dr. Mark Johnson, Director of Clemson University's Center for Advanced Manufacturing and the Thomas F. Hash Smart State Endowed Chair in Sustainable Development. I do want to thank Tom Hash, who is here with us tonight, for his generous support of that endowed chair position that allowed us to recruit Dr. Johnson. Will you please help me thank Tom for his support? Dr. Johnson is a former director of the Advanced Manufacturing Office in the Office of Energy Efficiency and Renewable Energy for the U.S. Department of Energy. He came to Clemson earlier this year, and we are thrilled to have him with us. I'm now going to turn this over to Dr. Johnson to start the discussion.
Well, thank you very much, President Clemens. I really appreciate that. And I have to say, one of the things in that introduction I was just reminded of was coming to Clemson University and just what excellence there is actually in the athletics program. That reminded me of sort of stepping on the field at the start of the game. So next year when we do this, we need to have the lights shut out and have the whole the introduction of people high-fiving as they come on. So, and have to say, because of that, I honestly believe that this really is a tremendous collection of talent we have here. To have a discussion around advanced manufacturing, the importance of advanced manufacturing, and why this matters right now for Clemson University and for the whole region. When I think about advanced manufacturing, and truly this is the part that I'm going to wind up talking in this, it's where we're using technology, whether it's things we've invented or the students that are using that technology to provide a competitive advantage and making sure that the manufacturing companies in the area are really successful as a result of that. So I'm going to start out this conversation very simply by asking our panelists, when you think about that advanced manufacturing issue, advanced technologies, first of all, introduce to everyone the company and what you wind up doing specifically here in South Carolina. And then beyond that, how does technology wind up feeding into what you wind up doing here in in South Carolina and across your company as well. I was asked actually to take this out of order so we're not just making it a down the line on this. So I'm going to start in the middle. I think one of the first business leaders I met when I came to South Carolina was Canute Floor from BMW. I'm going to ask Canute, you can wind up introducing, actually you're mic'd up with the mic, I think, as well.
No, I canceled it.
Oh, you canceled it.
And then I said, give me another one.
Okay. So if you could share with us a little bit about BMW, what you do here, and specifically where sort of advanced manufacturing can wind up having impact.
Great, thank you. Yes, we are building BMWs. That's the honest truth. Who's driving a BMW, by the way? The rest canceled the fun on driving? I know this is not the topic for today. So for me personally, I'm 30 years with BMW, and I'm a German engineer. That is not fun. But why are we here? Because when we came here, when we made the decision as BMW to come to South Carolina, this was one of the best places for business. This was one of the main reasons. We have a clear focus and message that it means production follows market. At that time, in the 90s, America was becoming a big market for us, so we started a production. In the meantime, we have in South Carolina the biggest plant in the BMW network. We are producing around 450,000 cars per year, and this means this will be 90 cars per hour. And we are producing the big X models, so this is a highly, highly successful business for BMW. On the other hand, we are the biggest exporter of cars out of the United States. Who knew this? It's BMW. And by the way, we are exporting more cars than we import, and I like to make these kind of statements. Huh? We're exporting more cars than we import, so I think we contribute in a very high way to the economy of the United States. We have employed right now 10,700 people, and in our internal calculation, we think it's a 1 to 10 ratio for the jobs that we created in the US. Having said this, I start with the next message. So we believe in free trade. And I know it's not a political event, so we do not believe in tariffs and closing and making the car more expensive. And why do we do this? Because we think the core value of a company is innovation and having the best product. We should compete in the world with the best product. And the best product is a product that the customer desires, not that is artificially more expensive. If we want to compete in the world with the best production of the best cars, then we need to have the highest innovation level also in production. So when you come to the BMW production, you will find the highest level of innovations, and you know Industry 4.0, you might talk about this. This is what we need to be competitive in the world. And if you want to implement the highest level of innovation, you need to have the best people. Because business, at the end of the day, is people. And where do we get the people from? This is the main question. No, we don't get them from Europe. We need to get them from the United States. And at that time, I would like to thank Clemson University for the big partnership, because we have hired more than 150 Clemson graduates in the meantime. We have very, very good experience with this, but we need to come to the next higher level because we want to be benchmark in production, and for this reason we need the best people, and this is why we are here, and we hope for your further support in our relationship, because we provide the innovation and the production and the money for implementing it in production, but we need the best people, and they have to come out of the network of the universities. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. So I think move from there, from BMW, that's our largest exporter of vehicles out of the country, to the newest, what I think is one of the newest factories, at least amongst the folks here at the table, in manufacturing here in South Carolina with Dr. Choi. I wonder if you could wind up sharing some of your thoughts on your company and what you're doing here in South Carolina, and particularly how we have potentials for partnership.
I'm from Samsung. Actually, I will do exactly the same thing. Any of you guys has a Samsung phone here? Raise your hand. Thank you. But that is not joke. Any of you guys has Apple phone? Raise your hand. There are some people who doesn't have any cell phone at all. It's very funny. Don't be shy. If you have Apple, take a look at Apple. Almost half of it is made by Samsung. Okay? So we like to have you buy Apple too. So that much spectrum. Why the spectrum business we are doing it actually? We do have a lot of semiconductor manufacturings, which one of the biggest semiconductor factory out of Korea is in USA. In Texas, we invest about $20 billion. Currently, we are hiring about 7,000 employees there. On top of it, we have R&D center in Silicon Valley, it's about 2,000 R&D folks. And if combine all together, in USA, we are hiring about 13,000 people under Samsung's name. So we are that much a big footprint in USA already. Before we come to washing machine factory in South Carolina, okay? Think about it. We used to build factory, the washing machine in Vietnam. Their GDP per capita is about $3,000. In South Carolina, workers' GDP per capita is about $50,000. Why you moved here? Because this is the market which we are. We got to create job here to sustain this market for Samsung business. When I joined Samsung 2004, we had about $100 million business in home appliances at the time. Now we have $4 billion, and maybe this year, if we do well, we reach $5 billion. Okay? That much of business you are doing it, you got to produce here, there is no other way. So we are doing it. But I have to compete $50,000 per year of GDP workers with $3,000 GDP per year of workers. How? Innovation. This is serious business we are talking about. We already invest about $500 million over 6 months. Now the factory is running, only 30% of capacity. Full capacity, I'm looking at about 2 million units of washing machine, which is about a quarter of US demand. Okay, this serious washing machine manufacturing is done in South Carolina. We committed it. But without these innovative ideas, without the university support, there is no way I can make this operation profitable. This is competition between state to state. Most of the job is in Ohio State and Michigan State are our competitors, washing machine makers. Been there for 20, 30, 40 years. But they never put innovation there because they don't put money to engineers. They don't put money to manufacturer workers. Some of US manufacturers, they made a mistake by outsourcing, exporting manufacturing job, and getting only service job, getting only IT job. This job you cannot sustain for long. We put $500 million in such a short time in South Carolina. There is no way I can devote South Carolina. I got to make turnaround profitable with your help. Here, Clemson University is critically important for us. I came here because actually BMW success story. It took about 25, 30 years now. 25. I will make it in 5 years and compete with BMW in terms of making job to sustain, to make South Carolina great. Please help.
Make one comment. The reason BMW came here was because Michelin
I take
was
up
long
that.
before BMW. So
I'm sorry, I only met him here. I didn't benchmark you yet.
So we have the first deal for the evening. So I take up this competition.
Very good.
And not in the next 25 years, you're right.
By then, I will be retired.
You could,
absolutely, I've been waiting to jump in here. No, actually, Michelin has been proud to call South Carolina home for 43 years. We built our first U.S. manufacturing site here in 1975, right here in the upstate. And today we have 9,500 employees in the state of South Carolina, about 7,000 here in the upstate. We've got 15 different sites in the state, 13 of them here in the upstate, including, most of those are manufacturing facilities, but we also have one of 3 global technical centers here. We have one of 2 of our global test facilities here. And of course, we have our North American headquarters here. So, and much like Knut said, Michelin chose South Carolina and chose the upstate over 40 years ago because of the capability of the workforce. You know, Michelin had the foresight at the time to say, let's look at the capabilities that existed in textile manufacturing, where that industry was going, the qualities of the people here. This is where we need to build our base. And obviously today, we have the vast majority of our North American manufacturing based right here in the state of South Carolina. So we are dependent upon and committed to this region for forever, honestly. And obviously we're very pleased that we've made that choice. But you know, when it comes to, Mark, your question on advanced manufacturing, for us, because we're dependent on this area, and because of some of the things you've heard, we have very, very demanding customers that we need to satisfy, some of which are here on the panel. And reality is today, no, don't give them the mic. The reality is, honestly, the pace of innovation, the technology we need to bring in order to continue to win in the marketplace and to retain the equity we have as being the industry leader in terms of innovation, product performance, and quality. We need advanced manufacturing capabilities to continue to satisfy our customers and to do it faster than we've ever done before. We also need those capabilities to continue to drive productivity. As a premium price manufacturer, we are constantly under attack from low-cost manufacturers, from imports. We need advanced manufacturing capability, whether it be everything from rapid prototyping to using sophisticated robotics to leveraging big data and AI to stay in front of not only the competition in terms of productivity, but also from an innovation standpoint. So exactly as the other gentleman said, our future is dependent upon our ability to work with universities like Clemson, work with the technical college, which we've been working with for decades quite successfully, to continue to cultivate the talent that we need going forward. Today, one of our biggest challenges, and I'm sure it's not unique to Michelin, is finding capable people in our plants at any level, from wage employee all the way up to the top, and that's not going to get any easier. So we need to work more closely with you guys, which is what we're here for tonight, and the technical colleges to fill that pipeline so we can continue to win and make this community even better than it is today.
Yeah, thank you, Scott. And I was pleased to learn when I was getting to know more and more about Michelin in South Carolina is how actually you're moving a lot of the R&D and the innovation centers here as well as the manufacturing. And having those two things closely linked is a really, it's a great direction to go on that. Another longtime manufacturer here in South Carolina, I think, is the Bosch Rexroth. And we've got Mike Sweaty here from leadership there. I wonder if you could make a few comments.
Sure, thank you. It's always great to be back in South Carolina. As President Clement said, I'm a mechanical engineering graduate from Clemson University in 1987. When I graduated, I headed down to Charleston to start the plant as a manufacturing engineer. And I think I have you all beat because we were here in South Carolina in 1974. So, what is that? The senior statesman? Not, no. But and we came to South Carolina for many of the same reasons, especially the importance of the port, being able to deliver for our local customers as the automotive industry was growing. So, and today we enjoy a great business here in South Carolina. We have 3 factories. So we have our Charleston plant, 1974, Anderson plant that I had the pleasure of being responsible for during my time here in 1985, and then since 1989, actually our plant over here in Fountain Inn in Rexroth, producing mobile hydraulics. So we're doing automotive components in both Charleston and Anderson, everything from, if you talk about, I can get every one of you to raise your hand today because we produce fuel injection components, anti-lock braking systems, safety systems, transmission control, sensors, even things to electronics. So today, there's probably not a car out there without a Bosch component inside. A lot of them in BMWs, so if you drive a BMW. And also, if you have a phone in your pocket, we probably made the micro-electrical mechanical sensor that allows the orientation when you flip. So maybe we have every one of you covered, and for those of you that we don't have covered, well, then just go out and buy a Bosch dishwasher, because you'll enjoy that too. We won't talk about washing machines, that's a different story. But anyway, to your question about advanced manufacturing is key to our success here in South Carolina and globally. We operate about 240 manufacturing sites across the globe. We have done a lot of work on advanced manufacturing, and today, I mean, it's funny when we talk about advanced manufacturing, because I remember my time here in Anderson when we were talking to guidance counselors back in maybe 1998, 1999, around advanced manufacturing. And getting people re-energized about manufacturing, and also having people come to work, because we continue, and I think we'll always have a skilled labor shortage or a labor shortage, and we always need good people. So we operate our advanced manufacturing kind of a lead user. We are a very strong user of advanced manufacturing principles, or what we call connected industry these days, and we're also a lead provider. So we have a group in Bosch that's also providing industrial equipment and Industry 4.0 solutions. So it's nice to develop them in our plants. South Carolina is proud, both Charleston and Anderson are two of our model plants for Industry 4.0, and being able to help supply the community and work with other industry organizations on delivering equipment for advanced manufacturing is very exciting. For what advanced manufacturing means to us, people are in the center. So this is not about automating our factories and never seeing another person. People are in the center, and they remain in the center. If you think about advanced manufacturing or connected industry, you're talking about people, technology, and information, and connecting those things. So when we think about what we need for advanced manufacturing, and we think about the role of the person, and like Scott said, everybody from the shop floor to the corner office is involved in manufacturing, advanced manufacturing. We need to continue to bring and attract new people and new talent, but we also need to think about the existing workforce that we have and this idea of continuous learning and this idea of lifelong learning. And we're very proud to partner with a lot of the schools, technical colleges, universities, even getting now engaged in middle schools with things like AWIM, following on in high school with FIRST, going through the technical colleges, and then partnering on research and development also with Clemson University. And I think that is really the thing that makes South Carolina unique. It's a great place to do business, and these partnerships are absolutely fantastic. So we're proud to be here. We're proud to call South Carolina home, and we'll be here for a long time to come. So thank you.
That's great to hear. So you mentioned Industry 4.0, the advanced manufacturing, the connectivity with people. One of the key elements of that, of course, is how do you wind up connecting those factories together, how you wind up integrating. So Siemens does a lot of that sort of work, Wolfgang. I wonder if you could wind up sharing a little bit about your observations about what's going on across the industry in the area.
Yeah, I'd be happy to do that. I'm probably among my esteemed colleagues here a little bit the odd man out, because Siemens, although we have about 50 manufacturing sites in the US, we don't have one in South Carolina, I admit. We have one just across the state line, North Carolina and Charlotte. In Charlotte, we have a major factory. But I think I was invited here because Siemens has been a very long-standing technology partner with Clemson. Have sponsored Clemson actually with a major software grant not long ago, multi-million-dollar software grant. Because I think we really see ourselves as an enabler for this advanced manufacturing, as Mark stated. So if I look at the contribution that we bring to advanced manufacturing, I need to just go a little bit back in history. It was around the year 2002, 2005 that our management, our top management, recognized that the future of advanced manufacturing is not just automation. And Siemens at that time was already the largest automation provider in the world, but we recognized that this Industry 4.0 was at the horizon, that the future would be actually in industrial software. So we, up to now, have invested close to $10 billion in software acquisition, which makes us really one of the largest providers of industrial software globally. And I noticed actually that I'm the only person here in this group not wearing a tie. I take the liberty, since we are a software company, not to wear a tie, okay? But seriously, I just want to give you one particular soundbite or one vignette about what does advanced manufacturing mean for Siemens. We have heard a lot, probably all of you have heard a lot about the so-called digital twin. In the digital twin, you will find quite a few different definitions. We define this very broadly. For us, the digital twin goes across the entire value chain. And this is how we build our portfolio of software and hardware to have the capability to create a digital twin of the product that you want to manufacture, to create a digital twin of the factory where you manufacture this product, and to create a digital twin of the process, the production process. So with the software and automation portfolio that Siemens has, we cover this virtual twin of the supply chain end to end. And I'll be happy afterwards to share with any of you who wants to hear more about this. But I think I've used up my time.
No, that's fine. I win when you guys keep talking, so that's okay. But I think I think you make an important point there, saying even though you're not manufacturing things here, I would say every manufacturer winds up having some component of Siemens or the control systems being critical as their infrastructure. And in this advanced manufacturing world, that's what we wind up needing. The other thing we wind up needing is people, of course. So our final participant here tonight is Tim Hardy from the community college system. I know there's a lot of partnerships that probably go back way before any of these companies were manufacturing in South Carolina, between the university system and the community college system. I wonder if you can share a little bit of some of your thoughts on how we're working together to make sure that we're not only developing technologies but having great people in positions to work with us.
Thanks, Mark. I really appreciate you intentionally saving the best for last. And thank you. And since as leaders we're a competitive group, Governor Hollings did begin the technical college system in 1961. I thought it was interesting that one of the first comments you made was 450,000 BMWs a year. And in South Carolina, we actually manufacture over 100,000 tires a day, 12 Dreamliners a month. What that means is you need people, and you need skilled people to do that advanced manufacturing across the state of South Carolina. And the technical college system is positioned to be able to provide those technicians that all of these folks need that are across. They don't just need people, they need skilled people to be able to work in their facilities. There's a piece of it I noticed that Jim, as well as seems like half the crowd, has a lapel pin that has a tiger paw on it, and mine is not that. It's the lapel pin for our system office that has the 3 words on it of affordable, accessible, and relevant. And our technical college system, while this fall semester we'll have 80,000 students enrolled, the reality is the more important number is that we graduate about 14,000 students a year. And those 14,000 students will have received an education that's affordable, accessible for them, and more importantly, relevant for these folks here that are in manufacturing. And we're tasked, and our vision with the technical college system is such that we provide that, but we also do it with partners. You mentioned the K-12 system, how it's important for us to start on that end, move students from the K-12 system, that we need to do some work on getting them recognizing that manufacturing is a great career and how important that is for the state of South Carolina. We're also fortunate in terms of the partnership piece that Clemson University has been a great partner with the technical college system in several facets in terms of, I think there's over 800 students that are in the Bridge to Clemson program there, Dr. Kramapati's at the back here in front of me, that the College of Engineering has partnered with the technical college system to really recruit students from our 16 technical colleges across the state to, he's looking for talent. And how can we pull students that can start at the technical college system because of its affordability, but have the academic skills to be able to be successful at Clemson. And we want to continue to grow that. And what that leads to is advanced manufacturing in the state of South Carolina moves to the forefront. And how do we prepare South Carolinians? There are 5 million South Carolinians. We want them to have those great jobs, and even though you're over 10,000, we'd like to see that continue to grow. And how we do that is by having talented people coming through the technical college system, moving over to Clemson, that become great engineers there, and how we can weave that and package it together.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that, you know, this is a resonant theme throughout the evening here, is the importance of education on it. The grant that was just announced earlier this evening, one of the key elements of that is the Center for Workforce Development that works with what some of the R&D that's going on in these areas like robotics, and how do we work with the community college system as well, so we're getting people that are coming through it, as well as making sure how do we wind up sort of pulling back and making sure that robotics and sort of latest and greatest technologies we're all working together on in that area as well. You know, one of the things that I hope we wind up getting out of today as a university is, you know, what's our homework for the next year on this? So we sort of standing up the Center for Advanced Manufacturing. This is an effort to wind up being more of an umbrella organization around manufacturing across the Clemson University ecosystem. So research, outreach, and education. So the question is, as you as a group of business leaders, this is your chance to turn around and get back to your professors and say, what's the homework you want us to do? I see you reaching for the microphone already. What's our homework for the next year?
I love it. The word homework, I love it. It's very good. But after listening to my colleagues, first of all, I would like to say thank you to you, because I just recognized that we are buying all of your products. And I think in this respect, I need to go on with what our bet just was. So when we count together how many graduates we hired from Clemson and from the South Carolina technical colleges, then I include all the suppliers. Right? Because these are much more people, because the automotive industry, 75% is value added by the suppliers. We have the equipment components, we have the tires, and we want to improve and we want to increase. So what is the homework for the university? That's a good topic. First of all, I would say, you heard it already, career. Make sure to the young people, starting at the school, that there is a great career path in engineering. So that the young talents not just work and want to become lawyers or something like this. So there's a great career path in the engineering. You can earn a lot of money. You prepare yourself for an international career. And I think we are extremely stable when it comes to these career paths. So we need you to attract these young students, young talents. Because at the end of the day, we can hire everywhere in the United States, but the best thing is that we do it together and to find these people in and around South Carolina. That is the first homework. The second one is, and we are fully committed to this, we want to try new technologies. And South Carolina is a great place to do this because we have less regulations. We can try things that we cannot try in Germany. I think you know Europe a little bit about data and this and that. So there are advantages and disadvantages, and if you look into the regulations, we can do a lot of things. What we want to do together with our partners is to showcase to the world and to the BMW network that we can do innovations in South Carolina for the BMW network in the world. And we have seen this already, and you said the digital twin. The digital twin is a perfect idea. If we would have a digital twin, we would have a competitive advantage already. Because can you imagine when you have a digital twin of a plant, you can just plug and play with new pieces of equipment. Today we need integration times, lost times, remnant times. We cannot bring the new cars, the new volume fast enough to the network. When we have this kind of advantage, and when we develop this here, we have a competitive advantage. And when it comes to robotics and then exoskeleton, we want to have the most ergonomic workplaces. And manufacturing today is extremely clean. Clean and neat. You will not get dirty. You come into a perfect environment. And for sure, the robot will do the job. We need to attract them, then we need to try it out together, because a lot of these things will fail, and we need the university and the technical scholar system. What we need is to try it out. What are we really going to implement into our production? Can we do this? Yes, we can do this. If we do it together, then basically we are unbeatable.
Before we move on, I think we've got from the digital twin, we've got a little
Yeah, I'd like to latch on to this, what Knut said. What we observe is there's thousands of computer science graduates in the US every year. I mean, that's certainly a great product of the US university system, that they're generating a lot of computer science or related subject graduates. However, thousands of these young people get sucked up by the Googles, the Microsofts, the Facebooks, who have just an enormous demand for programmers. Where I see, especially for these land-grant universities like Clemson that have a relation to the local economy, have a connection to the global manufacturing, to really push the topic of software also in the related engineering disciplines. So for mechanical engineers, electrical engineers, industrial engineers, software has to become a prime topic in their education, because those are the people that recognize the interesting aspects of manufacturing, that are willing then to go into these jobs. If you're a pure computer scientist, you're probably more inclined to go to Facebook or to Google. But if you're a mechanical engineer or industrial engineer, and you have an interest in manufacturing, you will deploy these software skills in manufacturing. So that's, from my perspective, what you guys want to do.
So it's one thing for them to go to a Google. It's a whole other thing if they, a hedge fund or, flash trading and all that sort of stuff. Right? I think that's it. You bring up a good point, though, that there's an underappreciated just how many jobs are in the manufacturing sector that have some variant of a title of data analyst or computer scientist. And that's one of the fastest growing areas right now for job growth in the manufacturing sector. Scott, you look like you've got something.
Well, no, I think a couple things I would say. First, we'll assume that table stakes are as you guys are doing, collaborating with us to understand what the needs are and the technology that's coming, so we're training people. Let's assume we're going to make that happen, as we've done in the past. I think Newt raises a good point. I think that help us market manufacturing. It's not as sexy as working for a hedge fund, unfortunately, or working in Silicon Valley. But I think part of that is misperceptions of it is a very dynamic environment. It is a clean, safe, highly automated, advanced environment. We need to do a better job of that ourselves, but we can do that together. By the way, one of the ways we can do that is through more internships and co-ops and exposing students to the real environment. I think it benefits the classroom learning experience. Help us as well, not just focus on the technical skills, but the reality is today, if you're working in a plant or you're an engineer, you're working in a very dynamic, fast-paced environment that requires collaboration, cross-functional work. And if you're not a team player, if you don't have those problem-solving skills, you can be the smartest person in the room, but it's not going to help us. So help us there. And lastly, I'm sure we're not alone. We want an incredibly diverse workforce. And we need that because our customers are diverse. We need it to win. Make sure that you're bringing diversity into your institution so we have access to that same diversity, because we need it.
Yeah, I would say, picking up on maybe on this data point, now, if you look at the connected manufacturing and the connected plant, there's a lot more data and information. And information has always been out there, but what Connected Industry or I 4.0 is doing is making this data transparent. So the more data transparency we have, then we need to find ways to use that data to help us solve problems and problems more quickly. I was just in our plant yesterday in Anderson, and we were struggling with an issue, a scrap cost issue, when I was there a few years ago. And the engineer was telling me now that with some of these new advances in technology and connectivity and data and the things that we're talking about now, he's able to see in many new ways how all this data comes together. And he was able to now create a system that allows the technician to just basically call up a recipe and automatically has reduced the scrap rate by 40%. And that was just through analyzing data. And you know, before we were capturing this data maybe with pens and pencils and paper, but now this data is coming together and we have to interpret this data. So if you think if you look at, and this is maybe a thing for Clemson as we look around computer science, this ability to analyze data, these data analytics, big data, data mining, and especially artificial intelligence. If you haven't taken a look at artificial intelligence yet, I mean, we should all be reading books about artificial intelligence and artificial intelligence for the good. Not just that Google is watching us and they know everything we do, but really using this artificial intelligence for the good of manufacturing and problem solving, because that keeps us in with our competitive edge. And this is not just the engineering folks. We're talking about all aspects of a manufacturing plant. If you look at logistics, the amount of data and the things that we have to do on the logistics side now. If you look at even controlling finance, you know, human resources, I mean, we're using data analytics in our human resource department now. So everybody needs to know more of these skills and how to use them. And I couldn't agree more with Scott about the collaboration, cooperation, and problem solving. We need real people to come to work and get working. That's why we love the co-ops. We actually, I think, are one of your biggest co-op employers. And we love having them in and being able to retain them. We need to get engaged with them early. So help us, you know, get engaged with these bright and best students, have them in, do more partnerships with them, because at the end of the day, talent wins and we need the talent, so.
So, Dr. Choi, I wonder if you could comment on that relative to, you're trying to overcome this $50,000 versus $3,000 barrier or challenge. How do we do that?
Actually, everybody is talking about artificial intelligence and robotics and so on. Thank you very much. That's our semiconductor future market. However you do, however BMW is running, without our chip, they cannot run, they cannot drive their car anymore. That's all about. And the thing which I'd like to mention about Mr. Flo mentioned very nicely, that respecting of engineering job. In particular, manufacturing engineering job is very important. In USA, somehow this respect of manufacturing job mood is all around. I have 2 kids. I try so hard, I'm a mechanical engineer, to make at least one of those 2 kids become mechanical engineers. I failed it miserably. I raised it here in USA, that's the problem. If I raised it in Germany, probably I could at least succeed 1 kid. Somehow, strangely, there are 3 German brands are sitting here. But although they are South Carolina companies, not German company anymore, but you got to understand the German system and German mentality. They still respect manufacturing. How high their income is, how high their life status is, still they respect manufacturing. That is how the German power in European market. If we lose manufacturing, we lose country. Believe me, Google, how many Google you have comes and goes. Manufacturing will sustain the society. But this some of engineering college, they fail to train their kids to be a good engineers. Don't scientists, we have enough scientists. Manufacturers, manufacturing engineers are the ones who make money. Because engineering by definition is to bring the product and sell it to make money. That's the engineers. Scientists, you have to put the money to publish paper. There are a lot of university professors, they are happy to produce paper without thinking about economics. Now, the reason I'm saying it is BMW has 5,000 units, 500,000 units per year, right? You are doing it over here. Yeah, that's wonderful. Lot of cars they make it. We are looking at 2 million units in 2 years. Consumer product, once you get into it, it creates a lot of jobs. Very interesting too, if you come to visit our factory, this is very clean. This is not old washing machine factory anymore. It's almost like office. A lot of students are not interested in, although this is great business. It's growing business, sustainable business. You can live without cell phone, but you cannot live without washing machine. I'm not joking. It's a fundamentally important machine. You cannot live without refrigerator. Think about it. If refrigerators die, but it's very big market to come in. The difficulties for us to maintain good engineers for long term without turnover is that they want to have a little bit sexier job. Don't believe in Google, Amazon's, Facebook. You have to believe in BMW, Samsung. Samsung is manufacturing company. It's not IT company, by the way. We do make money by making things. We don't outsource anything. Manufacturing technology is our backbone of company nobody recognizes. Even Samsung employees, Samsung executives, sometimes they deny that. They said they are IT company. If we don't know how to make chips, some of these chips is order of nanoscale. We do make that better than anybody else. That's why we beat Intel. So all this new technology they are talking about, sexy automation, computer scientists, all they need, semiconductors. Made by Samsung. How? Because of manufacturing job. Manufacturing skill will be critically important for the future, not the computer science, not artificial intelligence. All those should be done based on manufacturing job, however you do, whatever you do. So I really encourage Crimson to be leader in the world, not only in USA, to be a leader in true manufacturing technology. Don't be confused by sexy other term. Cutting the metal in nanoscale, that's the manufacturing which we are looking for. I really want to have Crimson be leader for that. I used to be working for United Technology. I used to build jet engines for almost 25, 30 years of it. And then suddenly I changed my job to washing machine builders. Some of my friends said, oh my God, you're such a good engineer in jet building engineers. You got to washing machine engineering? I told them, this is much more demanding job because in making washing machine, you have to fight for dollars and cents. In terms of making efficient washing machine with least cost. This is true manufacturing job without compromising quality. That's true manufacturing job. That's what the Crimson University need to lead for that to sustain many manufacturing jobs in South Carolina. Thank you.
Great. I think we have a
You're speaking out of my heart. Because I just wanted to say 100% agree. Yeah. And now I wanted to make another point because manufacturing is really sustainable. And after we talked about the age, BMW is since 100 years in the business. So we celebrated our 100th birthday 2 years ago. So it's not 1961, so 1916. So you can see, you can earn a lot of money, you can grow, and you can still do innovation with manufacturing, because this is very good. But there's one piece to the story where I would like to add something. Now we need to bring together artificial intelligence and manufacturing. This is a real, true, important task for the future. And giving you some examples, we talked about data. What is the data? Being able to read data is a big task for the future. It will save us endlessly. Think about one example like
in manufacturing, you have a lot of equipment, and you can run it with a strategy, don't fix it until it breaks. Have you heard this? Sometimes I hear this. No, we started to talk about maintenance. Maintenance, we are over the point of maintenance. Then we started about preventive maintenance. You might have heard this. So we exchange some parts prior to we think that they will break. Today we talk about predictive maintenance. Predictive maintenance means we do not just change out parts because we think they will fail. Now we predict from data that they will fail. Saves us a lot of money. Looking into the automotive industry, now we are talking about autonomous driving. So that's different to a washing machine. Autonomous driving with your chips. We are talking about 100% connected. Every single car connected to the world, and we're talking about electric cars. So these are the main focus areas. In a short time period, you will see the BMW cars in the plant driving around autonomously, because we can install the infrastructure, the chips, that's right. But we can install the infrastructure in the plant right now and show that this is going to happen. So we need to combine these two things, artificial intelligence and manufacturing, because this is the value add of the future.
I truly believe artificial intelligence applied to manufacturing will create sustainable job for the state. Okay, that's critically important. When I said human being is the most important and the most efficient machines, actually. By utilizing artificial intelligence, you can enhance your output twice, 3 times, 10 times, 100 times, even 1,000 times. I was talking about 3,000 per GDP per capita, $3,000 of GDP per capita to $50,000 GDP per capita. We can compete with anybody. The income is not very important. How well you utilize artificial intelligence to enhance your personal capability. Don't forget, human being is the most important. Artificial intelligence will enhance human beings' capability a lot faster and better.
That's great. Hey, Jim, one thing I'm just going to point out before Brett's going to hand over to you. It looks like we've got unanimity of a bunch of companies from around the world that appreciate manufacturing, and they've all come to South Carolina to do the actual manufacturing. So with that, I know the community colleges play a key role in that. So,
Well, and there's been several comments about people skills and that aspect of it. It's interesting that the 2 gentlemen on my right here represent Michelin BMW, that for many years we've had BMW scholars and Michelin scholars that sort of tied together the education and the real world experience to, if you will, grow your own in terms of a potential employee. On the other side, we just this past summer formed a partnership with Siemens that each of our 16 colleges have a mechatronics program. And we made the decision in partnership with Siemens to have all of our faculty members certified through Siemens to be able to have that industry standard. And I think both the technical college system and Clemson could benefit from more of that intentional partnering with all of these folks that are here to recognize that our faculty members, while they're extremely skilled, could even be more enhanced by that recognition of there's a national certification and how that in turn makes our students more marketable out there in the real world.
Yeah, I think this partnership is important. I mean, we've been partnering with the technical schools in Clemson for a very long time. If you look at our Bosch Scholars program now, I think one of the things that we appreciate is that you are listening. So, things to do, keep listening. Reach out and partner with us in more things, and we'll come to you with more ideas. You know, we like to be involved with our folks in mentoring students, and I think that's a big part of our apprenticeship program that we have now with the technical schools. And the other thing is speed. So I know a lot of academic folks like big, lengthy research projects that they can write a lot of papers with, but every day we're putting parts out the door, and every day the competition increases. So we need speed. We need speed for these ideas, we need speed for innovation, and I think you can help us in bringing that. So don't forget about the speed.
That's great. Well, I like the whole partnership idea and picking up on that. What I hope is a follow-up to this meeting we wind up doing as we wind up moving on our homework, using you all as essentially as our tutors or our study partners so we can work with not only you but your staff to say what are the concrete next steps we wind up doing as we start looking forward on that. So with that, one last question I was going to ask, and I think you brought this up a little bit earlier when you were talking about BMW and how many jobs are outside of the factory versus inside the factory. I think that's one of the things that people don't quite necessarily appreciate. You have a big factory with an OEM that's here, that actually means like 5 times as many jobs in the supply chain and the surrounding area. How do we reach out to the folks that are, key suppliers for you? Because we need to make sure we're innovating with them as well. What are some of the recommendations you would make for us in that area?
First of all, yes, this is right. So we depend on our suppliers. The 10,000 associates we apply, this is only a small number compared to what we need in our supply base. And just to give you another number of BMW from here, from South Carolina and from the other states, we are supplying parts into the world. When we produce another car in Africa or in China, wherever, today we export this. So we export much more parts, by the way, than we export cars. So, and I said this already, right? So, but these are parts going into the world. So our suppliers are probably in more need for advanced manufacturing than we are. So we are definitely the platform to bring these together, because we will ask our suppliers to invest and to do this and this and this and copy, and we will tell them that we should better partner up. I know that it works already, but there's a huge market from my point of view. But we will not leave our suppliers out of this discussion, that's for sure. And the ratio is 1 to 10, by the way. This is what we have calculated internally.
That most of big corporate like maybe BMW and Samsung, we can afford to bring in some new technology in our own factories. But often, suppliers, the operation is much leaner. So much more engineering demand, actually. There are a lot of good opportunity for us to have. But also other thing is the network of suppliers will make us successful in South Carolina to stay here for long, too. So it's very important. Engaging with suppliers, their need, and university can talk to suppliers to see what is their need. I'd love to see that.
That's great. Well, first of all, I want to thank our panelists for being here today. This has been a great conversation we wound up having. Jim, I think one of the things we want to wind up doing, we've got some homework to do. I think we need some teachers to come back and grade us a year from now and say, how did we do? And make sure we're delivering on that. But with that, I want to give a round of applause to we've got some refreshments and some gathering out front, and I'm certain we can continue this conversation as we continue moving forward. With that, thank you all for joining us here this evening, and look forward to turning in our homework.